Hey guys, I'm back for part 2. I took a little moment to recollect my thoughts here, and I'm totally eased up now. I'm going to give Brendan the benefit of the doubt. Again, I told you guys that I feel he's a genuine guy, and although I don't think that his strategy was that good, I think he should have went after like Matt and Brittany straight away. Not because I don't like them, mind you, but it would have been the best strategic move instead of Reagan, but it is what it is. So, going on to the veto competition and the veto episode in general, I did remember that was when Pandora's box was reintroduced, but I believe that was after the competition, so let's get into the details of that first. Brendan, Lane, and Reagan were the ones to compete, and Hayden, Enzo, and Kathy were selected, leaving Matt and Brittany unable to compete for the power of veto. And essentially it was putting together 4 separate puzzles. You had to like walk across like a balance beam onto a spinning platform with one piece at a time, forming your puzzles. And obviously it was a bit difficult for some of them, specifically Kathy, because it required a lot of balance and focus, and she seemed to be getting dizzy a lot of the times during the competition until finally she dropped out, and I believe she was the only one who dropped out, so that was, I don't want to say typical, but she is not doing very well in competitions, which is very unfortunate. But Reagan pulls out a surprising comeback victory. It was between basically him and Brendan, although Brendan was like a full half a puzzle or so behind. And he won the power veto, Reagan did. So it basically derailed Brendan's opportunity and desire to get Reagan out of the house because he can't be evicted now. Not by him or not by Matt, who has the diamond power veto, because whoever's head of household or the veto winner is immune from being selected as the diamond power veto holder's replacement nominee. So basically all this scrambling, Brittany especially, because she knows that it would be either her or Matt, but before any real scrambling can be done, Pandora's box is introduced again, and Brendan is given an opportunity for a trip for 2. And he assumes it's going to be a trip for two with Rachel, because her picture comes up on the monitor. What he didn't know was that this was kind of a trick. It was a trip for 2, but it was 2 independent trips. Brendan got to go to a lovely mansion where he got like a back rub and got to eat real nicely and sleep there and spend 24 hours away from the house, while Rachel, now a jury member, gets to come back into the house for 24 hours. And the first thing she says when she enters the room is, "I'm back, bitches!" And Reagan is just like, ugh. Everybody seemed really disappointed, especially Reagan and Brittany, because, well, Brittany just plain doesn't like Rachel, and Reagan is growing a distaste for Rachel. And all of a sudden, things explode, and Rachel pretty much confronts Reagan because he was a factor in why she went home. Which in that case, why doesn't she go after everybody? Because it was a unanimous vote. And I won't go into specific details, mostly because I can't remember a lot of it. But Rachel and Reagan went toe-to-toe a lot and threw back insults towards one another. One of them was rather frustrating on my part, which was something said by Rachel. However, it is what it is, and those things just spill out when adrenaline's rushing and when you're in the heat of the moment. So I guess I can't entirely blame Rachel or Reagan for some of the things that they said, but they were going at each other, and the entire house was like, probably, where's the bowl of popcorn? I want to watch this show. Because, why? Oh, because they don't really care for Rachel much either. basically the entire house, except for I guess Kathy, can't stand Rachel, and Reagan's fight with her really drew a lot of amusement from them. But basically, Rachel's stay is straightforward until she leaves a message in pretzels in Brendan's HOH room, and she tells Kathy about it. It says, "I heart you, Matt." No, she doesn't love Matt. She's saying "I love you" to Brendan, but she's trying to give him a message that since Reagan went to POV, she has to put Matt up as a replacement to avenge her. And the moment she leaves the house, Kathy goes up to Hayden and Enzo and tells them what the message said. So she asks them to keep it on the down low, but when Brendan returns, he ends up seeing the message, and basically he acts out on Rachel's wishes. It was basically a toss-up between Brittany and Matt, and he ultimately chose Matt, which was a good strategic move if he did not have Diamond Power Veto, but he did. And Hayden and Enzo were ready to kick Matt out. They were all on board for keeping Lane in. Sorry, I'm starting to run out of breath. Let's see. Couldn't click to the eviction episode. Enzo rubs Matt the wrong way because he basically asked, "You'd still want one of the Brigade members to win if he went home, right?" And Matt is intuitive enough and smart enough to know that this makes a red flag rise in his head. He feels that Enzo would be more than willing to vote Matt out as long as Matt would still give him his jury vote. So he considered putting Enzo up in his place and finding a new alliance. However, Reagan pulls off the ultimate sabotage, and it wasn't very amazing. He basically left a note saying, "I know your secret," on Enzo's bed. However, this just like exploded and got out of control. I mean, once Enzo found it, the only other person in the room was Kathy, and she just said she made his bed, and there was no note there. However, Enzo goes up to the Brigade members, and I think Reagan too, and they basically all discuss what Kathy said. Like, she was the one who told Matt and Hayden, Enzo and Hayden, about the pretzel message. She was the one who made his bed, and Enzo was like, "Oh, she's starting to make beds now?" So everybody thinks Kathy is the saboteur, which ultimately seals Reagan's safety. And oh yeah, Reagan does get the $20,000, and there's been no suspicion of him being the saboteur whatsoever. So ultimately he was a better saboteur than Annie was. Moving on to the eviction episode, when the Brigade felt like they were going to have to take out one of their own, and they felt Matt was the head of the snake, Matt pulls out the Diamond Power Veto during his eviction speech and replaces himself with Kathy. And Kathy goes up on the block against Lane, and we all knew right away how that was going to turn out. Enzo, Hayden would keep Lane because they trust Lane, so that's 2 votes. Kathy is Matt's target, so that's 3 votes. 3 votes, sorry. Since Reagan already pretty much knew that Kathy was in hot water, the moment she was in that nomination seat, that eviction seat, he knew that Kathy was the target. Brittany, I guess... Oh yeah, Brittany and Lane have a very close friendship, relationship, whatever. So ultimately, it was a unanimous 5-0 vote for Kathy to go home. So out goes the deputy sheriff, blindsided, backdoored, and you know, it was disappointing for me because I was really pulling for Kathy despite the fact that she hasn't won anything, mostly because of her background and her life story. But you know, it's the Big Brother game. People are going to get backdoored. People are going to lose their opportunities at $500,000, and the ultimately the win of Big Brother 12. So there's not much else to say, really. Finally, to wrap up this episode, let's see how much time I have left. I have plenty of time. The next HOH competition, Brendan is unable to compete, and basically anybody and everybody on competing for HOH besides Hayden and Enzo are basically set on putting Brendan up on the block. Brittany would put him up, Reagan would put him up, Lane would put him up. Who am I missing? Reagan, Lane, Brittany, Matt. Yeah, Matt. So basically it's 4 Brigade members against 2 outsiders, Reagan and Brittany. And Brittany pulls off this amazing win, which, by the way, if you guys haven't been able to tell, Reagan is not my most favorite player in the Big Brother 12 house. Brittany is, and she is ultimately a competitor. She knows how to play that game as well as the social game, and I do feel she does have some strategy behind some of the moves that she makes. So ultimately I was very happy that she won HOH. This is definitely going to put a hamper on some plans, because when you think about it, she is going to put up Brendan, but she would not put up Matt or Reagan. So who does that leave? Who does that leave? See, she would put up Brendan. She would not put up Reagan or Matt. That means Enzo and Hayden are definitely at odds ends, and most likely one of them will be put up next to Brendan, because she will not put up Lane, she will not put up Matt, she will not put up Reagan. She's definitely going to put up Brendan. So my prediction is her nominees are going to be Brendan and either Enzo or Hayden. And I think it's going to be Enzo, so Brendan and Enzo. Damn, I gotta breathe. So look forward to next week, because it's going to be a double live eviction episode. So I'm really looking forward to seeing whether or not the Brigade will pull through, because this is the moment. Take for instance, if Brendan wins the veto competition, I think Brittany would put up Hayden, because she's very close with Lane, Matt and Reagan. That doesn't leave really anybody else. So Enzo and Hayden would be put up on the block, and one of them would be sent home, probably Enzo. So the Brigade's chances of making it to the Final Four together rests entirely on how they perform in the veto competition. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. So that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 5. I'm OriginalRyou here. Remember, your opinions matter as much as everybody's, and this show is not just about recapping and reviewing the series, but also sharing opinions, such as my own. So please try not to take offense to any favoritism that I show towards certain house guests. That's just my personal opinion. As I said, how many times can I say that word in one video? I don't know. Oh yeah, it's definitely time for me to end the part. So I will see you guys Thursday or Friday, I'm not sure yet, for episode 6 of Big Brother 12 Review and Opinion Show. See you guys later. Have a good one.